Good evening. There have been two major developments today in the South China Sea War. The Chinese Navy has obtained an important new weapon, and the U.S. has launched a major attack. We'll begin with the attack. The U.S. Navy fired cruise missiles at a secret landing strip being used by the Chinese military for attacks on U.S. naval forces in the Spratly Islands. Sally Jarvis on the Independence. Take us through it.
Jim, the missiles took out not just the airstrip, but also a large number of Chinese aircraft on the ground. Now, there are serious questions tonight about how satellite reconnaissance missed this strip and how the Chinese managed to establish it without anyone's knowledge. Jim, whenever this conflict ends, the guys having to answer the tough questions will be the intelligence people.
Sally, good to hear you're safe and those planes won't be a threat anytime soon. One more question. There has been a lot of buzz here about a new U.S. submarine, the Cheyenne.
Jim, the Cheyenne has performed with great distinction in this conflict so far. It is state-of-the-art machinery, but it takes extremely rigorous training for a crew to unleash its full potential. And from what I understand, the Cheyenne's crew has just been first-rate. Not
all good news from the region, though. Greg Hayes at the Pentagon. What do you have?
Jim, the CIA and naval intelligence say new Chinese submarine forces have been spotted heading for the South China Sea. Even worse than that, the U.S. Navy has electronic intelligence, ELINT, that suggests a number of Russian-built Akula II-class submarines are being put in theater on the Chinese side, out of Russian bases on the Sea of Okhotsk. If that's the case, these subs have Russian crews. It's a disturbing possibility, Jim.
This is incredible. Once our mortal foe, for a while our friend, is Russia once again our enemy? Sonia Marshall at the Capitol, are we at war with Russia as well?
Jim, the administration is treating this very gingerly. The word from Moscow is to deny active participation by the Russians in this war, and until proven otherwise, the president intends to take the Russians at their word, but also intends to be prepared for the worst. Jim?
Jeb Thomas, these Akula II subs, a real threat?
Yes, they certainly are, Jim. A tough enemy. These are very quiet, very fast, very dangerous subs.
Dr. Adrian Mann, the Russians send these dangerous submarines into bat for our enemy. Why isn't the president doing anything about it?
I think the president is getting some good advice. I suspect the U.S. forces will be told to hunt these Akulas and knock out as many as possible, while in public, the president stays quiet about the Russian involvement. Not challenging them in public gives the Russian leadership a way of making a graceful exit.
Jim, this is shrewd advice. Going public now might have the unintended effect of widening this conflict, and the world cannot afford that. Our best bet is to strike these Akulas a lightning blow, and these Russians, if they are Russians, will suddenly vanish.